My name's Lynn Greaves and I'm a student nurse and pre-reg nurse. I was called to the front line of the pandemic in around April, beginning of April, and started my current post mid-April. Being called into the front line was quite scary at first, purely because it was fear of the unknown. Nobody knew what was happening, including the nurses and staff on the ward. It was overwhelming at first because there were so many patients, not enough staff, and it was quite chaotic. People were working together well as a team, but the doctors didn't know what was going on, which led to the nurses not knowing really who to turn to. A nurse could have 3 to 4 patients who are all critically ill and who require one-to-one monitoring, so the ratio was completely out of control at that point. Literally on my first shift I was called to prepare a body that had died throughout the night. So I was left alone to do that. I did get some assistance with it, but that was quite overwhelming. Some of the negative things that I saw on the ward were early on in the pandemic, when we were losing a lot of patients, very healthy patients that came in with no underlying health conditions were dying quite young, and that was very overwhelming. Literally, when I first started there were just bodies all laid out that were sedated. So there were patients laid out that looked literally like corpses. They were either on their front or their back. They were all sedated, and that was quite difficult to see, and it was a very strange thing to witness. I think you do have to mentally prepare for a shift at first, because the first few shifts were completely new and overwhelming. So you do have to, get your thoughts together and try and just focus on the job at hand and not think about what the outcome might be. It's nice to get out, particularly as we're in lockdown at the minute. So it's a new way of helping your mental attitude. It's something we probably didn't focus on too much before, but particularly now in lockdown, I've found that it helps to give you a new perspective and enjoy what's around us, what greenery we have around us. I find that nature's important to me. It improves my mental health. You think about the here and now, where you are, rather than what's happened or what's going to happen in the future, and I find that it really has a positive impact on my mental health. Just being in nature just helps you sort of escape reality. It almost feels like a dream that you're in. Keeps your imagination going and thinking about the positive things rather than the negative. Being with my daughter does help me cope, because she's the only family member I can properly see at the moment and talk to about the things that are happening at the hospital. So it's nice to have someone to talk to. It helps me to clear my head and just distract me from what's going on at the hospital. Now that I've been working there a couple of months, I'm starting to see improvement in the patients and how it's affecting them. It's a good feeling to be knowing that we're making a difference to get them on their feet again. I do feel proud that I've been able to help, and so it will definitely be something to look back on and think I did my bit and was proud to help.